This is Rob Thompson with Game Playing You today. We have a guest over there, Richard. Richard, now I wish you wrote out your last name too, because I'm going for it. Owoyemi.
Yes, that's correct. You call it right. You got my name
Oh,
right. That's right.
I'm getting so much better at this.
Well
So
done, Rob.
yeah, so I appreciate that. I think it's the harder the last name, the better I am at that. I think so. I don't know.
Oh,
So,
that's good. That's
so
good.
so you are the founder and the CEO of PunterClash,
That's
right?
correct. That's correct.
And we're going to get into that in a second, but I want you to just talk about, my audience here is it's people in the industry, it's executives in the
Hmm.
sports and entertainment and media, it's investors, it's a little bit of everybody, people in the sports industry just in general, and those interested in sports technology.
Right.
So talk about where you're from, because obviously you have a little bit of an accent, just a little bit of an accent.
I
Talk
get that
about
a lot. I get that a lot.
yeah,
It's all right.
talk about talk about where you're from. Talk about your background and how did you come up with the aha moment
Uh,
for Punter
that's
Clash?
it's a long story. Okay, I'll start from the first question. Where am I from? I'm from Nigeria, and right now I live in Nashville, Tennessee. And I would say the quest towards coming up with Ponte Clash has been so much so to my quest to actually challenge myself, to know if I'm actually good at sports betting. I didn't just come up one day and said, okay, I wanted to start a business. I wanted a business to be Pauna Clash. Pauna Clash actually transitioned from a WhatsApp group actually. So, back in 2016, I used to get involved a lot in sports betting back then. Back then, you could even call me an obsessed gambler, and I won't even blame you. This was my bread and butter. This was what I did every day. I analyzed sports market, and I bet a lot. And then I started losing money, and I wanted to stop, but at some point, I was like, okay, let me just create a WhatsApp group and see how good I'm actually uh, in. Oof, man, this is this is crazy, but I'll get in.
It's not easy, is it? Right? Because
Yeah,
once you start, your mind gets going.
oh
So
yeah,
you
my
started.
mind.
So basically you were in it. So you were a user. You were the main core. The consumer that you're going after is
Hmm.
the old version of Richard, right? So
That's correct. That's correct.
so you understand the mentality. It was part of your
That's
daily.
right.
Those are the things that you got excited about. But primarily
Hmm.
in was it primarily in soccer? Was it
Uh,
primarily in European soccer or?
yeah, soccer and tennis. I used to gamble in soccer and tennis. Tennis season always is not always constant. It's not
Yeah.
all the time as much as soccer because there's a lot of countries in the European leagues. We have United States playing soccer. We have the MLB group in for United States. So soccer is always going on. So there's
Right.
always something to bet on. So, the quest was actually to prove to myself that I'm actually good at sports betting because whenever I bet back then, just one game used to come out and destroy everything. I spent so much hours in trying to create. So I was like, okay, Richard, let me create a WhatsApp group. And then in this WhatsApp group, I actually sent a broadcast to all the best people I knew that used to actually predict games. I invited them to my own group. At first, everybody turned out of the group. The first day I created the group, it was so funny. Everybody just started leaving the group. And then I personally started calling these guys, and I'm like, okay, guys, like, I want to know how good you are. Like, I'm creating this group because I want to know who is better. And, it kind of actually got people to stay. They were like, okay, who are you? I want to know if I can actually bet more than you. I know they know that they can bet more than me because I used to be in their own group. So they wanted to get on my own group and challenge me. But something interesting happened when we started this. The first two times, we had a round because I was like, okay, let's play the games on weekends because that's when the most game comes out. So it gives more people the liberty to say that, oh, there's a lot of games going on today, so we can challenge ourselves. The thing that happened was that I won back to back, on the group. So everybody was now looking at me like, who is this guy? Like, is he? He's good. He's out here trashing us. He created this group and he's beating us. And the thing I did then was that if you win a game, because it was a five odds competition, if you get all the five odds complete, you get 3 points. If your game goes bad, if one game out of your game goes bad, you get -3 points. So the point where that failed was when people were now starting to have -23 points, -25 points. We started losing interest, and that WhatsApp group failed. And it was from that WhatsApp group that PunterClash came. One night, I was just like sucking up that, oh man, I spent so many hours trying to create this. What's the name? The name was GBC. I called it Grant's Veterans Challenge. And the reason why I called it Grant was maybe because I was actually following something Harry Truman, the 33rd president of the United States, said one time. It was like, if you want to create something amazing, you have to not be willing to take credit for it. So I didn't want to put my name on the back of that one. So I was like, GBC, Grant's Veterans Challenge. I don't want to call it Richard's Veterans Challenge, because that was what actually was. So, GBC failed because people were losing betting with a normal model. So one day I was just sitting there and I was thinking about it, and then I was like, okay, this could actually work, but not if you're betting all your game has to come true. What if on that my GBC, I've actually challenged these guys one-on-one and be like, oh, guy, I know I was in your group before. You used to bet a lot, but let's say I challenge this person one-on-one, and it's about a game of odds whereby the best game wins. It could be something that could work, and that's where PunterClash came about. That's how PunterClash started.
So talk about PunterClash, because it's a slang, right? So talk about how you came up with the name.
That name actually came up the day I knew GBC, the day I was actually thinking that GBC failed. So I was like, okay, GBC won't work again. It's no more a challenge. I was transitioning. It was just a day. I was actually drinking that day. Sorry about that. So I was like, okay, this has to change. So I started thinking, and I was like, Punter. And I used to play this game, Clash of Clans, right? So the Clash came from Clash of Clans. I was like, Punter, Clash. And I looked online. There was nothing like PunterClash online. So I was like, okay, Punter is someone that gambles. Clash is when both of us are trying to settle a score. Who is better? And that's what PunterClash is all about. You get on PunterClash, you settle your score. You look for people in your social network that you think you can beat, and you get them in to challenge you. It's just like an alternative to the normal sports betting with a sports book. That's what PunterClash is all about. And on PunterClash.com, this is our landing page.
Right.
We have all that out there. I'm kind of this is my first show, so I don't know. How am I doing, Rob?
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. You're telling a great story. So basically, the way it's understood is that I'm taking my group of 5 or 10, right?
Okay.
We're basing it on five. We're basing it on what, 5 or 10 games, and you gotta run the table to win that pot, right? To win the clash against your group. Is that it?
It's not more so towards a table. It depends on what you and your friends want. Right now you're actually calling one of the ideas we have in our tanks in PunterClash. One thing we've actually found out on our team is that ideas are cheap in PunterClash team. In the PunterClash world right now on our Slack channel, our team be talking a lot about so many ideas that we can implement. But the thing is, we got to actually focus on what we can do in the meantime. So, the thing we currently doing right now, our focus currently is just so to actually get 2 people to actually challenge themselves. We're still in pre-startup right now. I'm sure you know that. We looking to launch May 7th. That's right, May 7th. But coronavirus.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question though?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. So as we go through this, and I brought up the second page of this, and you talk about the top hunter, and you talk about
Awesome.
the awards. How does that work?
Okay, so on PunterClash, if you actually challenge people, right, with money, you come on PunterClash to settle scores, and as you settling scores, you get points. And these points is what we use to rank you against other people playing on the platform. So, we want to create a kind of world in which punters can actually say that punters can actually have a rank, because I don't think there's anything like that currently. The current we add an extra level of connection in sports betting like never before. If we have this rank, punters. The reason why I actually came up with PunterClash was because, a lot of punters out there, they're spending a lot of time in actually analyzing these games. And, whenever they lose with a sports book, that's just a hand. So we're like, okay, how can we make this experience stick more? People are losing money and they're losing time with the normal sports book way, but PunterClash is just an alternative way. PunterClash is not saying don't start betting with a sports book. The same games that you're using to play with a sports book, you can use to challenge people, your friends on PunterClash, and we rank you according to your challenges. That's what this stuff Punter is all about. So you can have bragging rights, because that's what it is in the sports betting world. A lot of people, punters, they love to share their wins. They love to communicate about it, and we giving them that way, the ranking system to be able to do that, approve of their skill. So the social community, we're trying to build a community also on PunterClash, because that's what it's all about now. A lot of platforms, they're building communities about around peer-to-peer, P2P technologies. That's what everything is now. Airbnb is doing something in that space. The Gen Z, the Generation Z, a lot of these people, they're doing things surrounding peer-to-peer, and we trying to like build a community for our punters too.
Yeah. I'll go on to the next one. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, so this is still in beta testing right now?
Yeah, this is in beta testing. We're in beta testing right now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you, it's such an interesting platform. I told you, I think it's very similar to the old school in the U.S. We had slips, right? And I think you go down and you had a buddy or had a bartender, you get a slip. Right. You put it in your picks for that week, and it's whether it's college football or NFL, and and you're basically playing within that group of 15, 20 guys.
That is what PunterClash is.
Same thing, but so you're primarily focused on the first beta test going out, and the focus is going to be on the Premier Soccer League. Is that correct?
Yes, but with coronavirus right now, we're looking to actually diversify, our offers, because we have to test. So that's why we're actually looking to diversify into other sports, because there's not a lot of games going on right now. I'll be honest with you, and that is actually slowing us down. And I cannot even tell you honestly if we can still meet our target, but that's why we have to diversify into other sports to actually keep us testing and keep us working.
Yeah. What has been the biggest challenge that you've faced? I mean, first of all, to take an idea, to build out an app, you have two of your co-founders are still over in Nigeria, right?
I have three co-founders, actually. Three co-founders. Three.
Yeah. So you guys are disconnected. You're here in the States, business development, connecting the dots, doing, talking to a schmuck like me. And what's been your biggest challenge besides the obvious, what we're going through right now, in the world? What's been your other biggest challenge in kind of getting it to this point?
That's a good question, Rob. I'll tell you my biggest challenge with PunterClash and what I've been able to overcome it. My biggest challenge with PunterClash has been to learn to actually slow down and discriminate. So I'm a kind of guy that if I say something wrong, I want to tell you straight. I'm straight. I'll tell you. But the thing is, okay, I'll tell you a story of a day that, this could have actually happened. That was on the day of our alpha launch, a day on our alpha launch, everybody was expecting us to come in, and talk about why we did not meet our target, because we had some target to meet at our alpha launch, which we, of course, did not meet. and everybody knew that, and people were expecting me to come in that day and like say, why have we not done this, to kind of like be mad or go crazy. And I was lucky that night I was actually able to read this book, Rhonda Brand, The Secret, and she talked a lot about gratitude in that book. I mean, the way she explained it, she was like, gratitude is the solution to a lot of problems we have in the world. That if people can actually look towards gratitude, a lot of things would change. And so this was what I did that morning when the meeting started. I was supposed to give the first speech, right? So I was like, okay, before we even start this whole alpha thing, I understand that this has been really long, to get to that alpha. We spent a lot of time. It's been a long journey. So I was like, okay, guys, just start thanking people that has made life easy for you on the PunterClash thing. And I started.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you, my co-founders, that without you, I don't know how this would have even happened. Like, look at us now. We have people even on the team taking tax, moving the ball forward, owning PunterClash like it's their home, and that's what we want. And it kind of like opened everybody up. They were like, "Oh, thank you, thank you." Everybody was thanking everybody. It was like, "Oh, thank you for telling me about PunterClash, because that's the reason why I was able to join this team and everything." Like, it eased everybody up. I didn't. I'll tell you one thing, Rob. I didn't get to criticize anything that day. They opened up themselves. They were like, "Oh, now we gotta make accounts for some responsibility. I did not do this because of so thing." People started talking. I didn't have. I mean, they were even calling out discriminations that were even more than the one I could have even said. So I was like, okay, maybe gratitude actually works. And that's why, if you even notice in your interaction with me, if you do anything for me, I want to thank you, because I know that's the way to get more service from you. And that's how we get more service from ourselves in PunterClash, not to discriminate. Even if you want to discriminate, look for something to thank first. That's how we are in PunterClash. We look for something to thank first before we tell you what is wrong. And that was like the biggest challenge. At first, I always discriminated before leaning towards the gratitude first and then complaining second. I mean, after
Well,
yeah.
you should talk to my wife, please. You could do that. Yeah, give her some tips on that. So, all right. So you got it to this point. You guys are putting a lot of effort into it, a lot of time.
Right.
You're doing a little family and friends raise. As an
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel every day now when you're getting up? What you're faced with besides gratitude. What are the things that you're doing just to keep yourself motivated to keep moving forward?
Hmm. I listen to a lot of people. I have a couple of my best friends. The gifts they give to me is books, because they know me now. I tell everybody, just give me anything you can. If you have any book, use it, just send to me. And the reason why I order this book is not because I want to read everything. It's just that if I have any question, I know where to look. I read books to look for answers to questions. So, the way I get myself inspired is by listening to people like John C. Maxwell. Is really awesome.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of these guys, they're the ones that keep me going, reading books. It's just, I just love it, and being able to get back together, talking to PunterClash team every day, it's just awesome. PunterClash has made me a better person. I can tell you, forget entrepreneur. I've had all the ideas before PunterClash. I've always had an idea. People who know me know that. I've always had an idea about something I want to do, but none of my ideas have made me a better person like PunterClash has. You know, it's been
What you learn?
awesome.
What have you learned about yourself? When you look at it, what have you learned about yourself now going through
Uh,
this?
okay, so with PunterClash, I made a realization. When dealing with these people, when dealing with my co-founders and everybody else, I knew I had to know my personality type. That was Socrates said it, know thyself. And somehow, when I started interacting with these guys, I was like, okay, I have to know myself so that when I'm getting some complaints, so I can know which one to believe. Because now it was actually John C. Maxwell that did this for me. He said something. He always asks this the people that are with him on the John C. Maxwell company, that what is it like being on the other side of me? That he always wants to know what it's like being on the other side of him. So I started getting into knowing myself, and I actually had that discussion with one of my co-founders one day, and he actually told me that, oh, Richard, yeah, you can be insensitive sometimes. And the reason why I was able to let that stand was because I already did my personality test, and I knew it said there that I'm an insensitive person. So someone telling me again that I'm insensitive, I was like, okay, yeah, PunterClash is good, because without PunterClash, I wouldn't have gone after people like John C. Maxwell to know how to better serve these guys. It's because of them. That's why I went after John C. Maxwell, because he is the biggest name in leadership. So I'm like, how can I be a better leader to these guys that are counting on me? I mean, I have these guys working, my co-founders, none of us is earning anything from PunterClash at the moment. So, how can I be a better person to these guys that actually believe in this? Okay, so when PunterClash started, I have to let you understand that I knew PunterClash was kind of like a diamond in the rough. It was an idea, but I could not figure it out. But until I was able to get together with my co-founders, that was when we started actually getting the whole idea. They were like, okay, because I had so many ideas when I came to them. They were like, this can't stand, this can't stand, this can't stand.
The execution piece of it.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I give you a lot of credit. It's one thing to have an idea. It's another thing to pull it off, right? And so you got it to this point. Yeah. So you got it to this phase now that you're ready to kick it into gear. So last question. I got one more question for you.
Okay.
So if you were to go back in time, I ask this question all the time. If you're going to go back in time and ask, give Richard some advice on things that you have learned along your life. If you're going to go back in time to when you were 19, 20, 21 years old, what advice would you give to yourself on maybe the things that you know now? So what would that advice be?
I'll tell you, that advice is going to be patient on yourself. I mean, be patient, because that's it. Be patient with yourself. Be patient. Things take time. Big things take time. When I got together with these guys, I actually thought PunterClash was something that we could actually talk about and get out in 6 months. But I realized that was not true. And when that was not happening, you know what I was doing? I was acting like a victim over here in the United States. I was frustrated. I was calling every time. That was the part where I said, learn to slow down and not discriminate what's coming in. So it was getting in my day. Everything was like, I was becoming a negative person because nothing was moving. But all I needed to know was just to be patient at that point, that good things take time. I needed to get these guys to, get on board. Actually, one of my co-founders was not yet technical at the point when he joined PunterClash. But because, during the time when PunterClash was slow, it was learning how to be a developer. And it got good enough to actually contribute a lot to our code base, So it was just like, let just things take time, and that's one thing I've learned. Good things take time, honestly, Rob.
Yeah.
Good things take time.
Well, it's been good to meet you. I'm glad you're part of our program, and
Thank you so much.
And we're wishing you the best. We look forward to rooting you on along the way of this journey.
Thank you so much.
So thank you for being on the show today and bringing a lot of joy and your smile to this and your knowledge and your experience and
Thank you so much,
I just wish you nothing but the best. So that's Richard over there. I'm Rob. This is great game playing you today. Wishing you all happiness and safe and go wash your hands, everybody. Take care now, Richard.
I need to wash my own hands too. All right, take care.
Take care now.
All right, bye.